the real story is the fake news media. And the very last thing that the lawyers for terrorists, which are the fake news media, wants you to think about. And this is how they train journalists to write. This is how the AP style book and all journalism professors teach their students. Whatever you do, don't be in the story. Don't put yourself in the story. Because if they put themselves in the story and we consider their role in it, then we might actually discover that the fake news media is the number one domestic terrorist in the United States and the enemy. If you forgive the expression, I know where it comes from, but if you forgive the expression, for lack of a better term, the enemy of the people, the fake news. The fake news is the enemy of the people, and the fake news has been behind the. I would bet, if I were a betting man with my life, I would bet that the fake news was behind the suicide of the Los Angeles man, and also the man who fell asleep at Wendy's. Again, the fake news drives up tensions so that you can't think reasonably in an otherwise reasonable situation. The fake news drives enmity between police and everybody. It ratchets up the stress so that we as Americans will create more misery and therefore more fake news, and the cycle goes on and on and on as America spirals downward and has been for the last century. More white people are killed by black people than black people are killed by white people. More black people are killed by black people than white people killing black people. Blacks kill a lot of people, relatively speaking. If you were to put a quote on it, blacks win, okay? And the Tony Timpa case, who's Tony Timpa? Tony Timpa's the white guy whom police exercised severe and undue brutality towards. He's, by all counts, a more upstanding man by a long shot than the Mr. Floyd that the fake news media is dwelling upon over and over again. But none of that, if you just throw away the details, because if you really analyze it, if you stop, you think, you take a deep breath, right? And we exhale. And we take a deep breath. And we exhale. And once more before we continue, we take a deep breath with me. And we exhale. Very good. You're doing a great job, by the way. Inhale. And exhale. If we really think about it, if we make it a point to not become advertiser buying pawns, that's right, pawns of the fake news media and the infotainment oligarchy, or oligopoly, meaning the collective of the FANG companies and the fake news empires, Disney, ABC, NBC, CNN, then we will realize, if you just think about it just for a minute, remember this weird lie that somehow police unrightfully kill more blacks than whites. And it is a lie. If you do your research, if you cross your T's and you dot your I's, which, by the way, the fake news doesn't do. They just read everything off the wire. In the industry, we call it ripping and reading. That's why all the local anchors they're all just reading off the same script. They don't do any research, and frankly, they don't care. Take it from this former fake news anchor. And you realize you're being had, America. You'll realize you're being had. You'll realize that they're playing us like a violin. George Floyd. They're playing us like a violin. You're being had. You're being sold down the river, America. Take a deep breath in. And again, we take a deep breath out. I know. It does see the effect it has even on me. And I'm a former fake news anchor. This is what I did for a living and deeply regret. And oh, how I tried to tell the truth, by the way. I didn't know. None of us did at the time. I came out as a fake news anchor before it was cool. Yeah. That's why they call me America's Man's Man. But all of which is to say, please, please do not lose sight of the fact. The fact that the real story happening over and over again, the linchpin, the hidden matrix of the Skinner box that you're in that makes you do this. Click, click, click. 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 Just like that proverbial rat in the Skinner box. It's what you look like on the other side of the phone, even when you're watching this video. Is that dignity? Is that human dignity? No, it is not. Or maybe you're clicking your TV clicker from the easy chair like this. It's what you look like when you're watching TV. Studies have shown that you actually look like a psychotropic drug user in terms of your brain waves when you've been watching TV for an extended period of time. Mr. Anderson, do I have your attention now? Bottom line is that the fake news is the story, and they keep ratcheting up America to distraction to the point of us killing each other, to the point of us now where we are welcoming domestic terrorists into our home, into our hearts, into our churches, into our schools, for them to rape and murder us. And if you care, if you have the least bit of self-dignity, you're going to stop doing this. Oh, so scary, what a world, what a world. Oh, so scary, what a world, what a world. Oh, so scary, what a world, what a world. Oh, so scary. If you have the least bit of self-dignity, you're going to recognize this pattern, this psychological pattern that all of us, to some degree, have been party to. I don't like to call us victims because we're not victims. We're America and we are America strong. However, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. If now, knowing, being enlightened as to the nature of the matrix which imprisons your mind and mine, if you continue to be prey to the infotainment, the vaudevillian hijinks of those hack talking heads doing their little news dance every day, their little tap dance on TV. If you're going to mistake that for actual public discourse, for actually being a responsible citizen, fulfilling your civic duty, as you do this. Oh, what a world. Oh, click. Oh, what a world. Oh, click. Oh, what a world. Scary story. Oh, what a world. What do you think that's doing to your brain over the long term? What do you think it's done to all of us over the course of a century that fake news has been in existence here in America? That's right. It has brought us to near extinction as a country. And as humanity, So, the solution is to break the pattern. Break the pattern. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. Break the pattern. Break the pattern. Break the pattern of thought which has you enslaved to the matrix of the fake news media, of the anti-social media, of the infotainment complex which has enslaved our minds since the advent of broadcast media over a century ago. And realize that the real story here is that the fake news is constantly evading responsibility for being directly responsible for massive American deaths. Remember, if it weren't for the fake news, that one tragic incident would have remained one tragic incident and wouldn't have turned into, another suicide, another police brutality, another building being burned down. You think that those folks would have burned down the Wendy's in Atlanta if they hadn't been inspired, as the fake news calls it? Not instigated, but the fake news calls it, it was an ISIS-inspired attack. Inspired to the fake news. ISIS is inspirational. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the jury, don't be had. Realize that the fake news is the story. And just like the devil trying to, as Christians have talked about historically, just like the devil trying to evade responsibility, trying to get you to laugh at him, just like maybe some of you are laughing at America's man's words right now. Mind you me, and mark this, as our good Puritan forefathers used to say. You mark this. The devil gets us to laugh at things. Think of your favorite sitcom and the sin that it got us to first laugh at until it became a part of our lives. Yes, I'm talking about sodomy and every other evil, divorce, all from the sitcoms. If the devil can get you to laugh at it, then, then it isn't so bad, and we invite it into our lives. People getting banged in the head. I'll never forget my grandmother watching my brother and I watching Home Alone a long time ago, and she said, that's crazy, she couldn't even watch it. We were desensitized to it, and now we live in a world where, I guess that's the norm, at least in some parts of the country that aren't as amazing as this one. But the bottom line is that the principality of media, what in religious terms, or for the rest of you, the media's one biggest trick, and it's fooled us again and again and again, is just like the devil, has, appealing to our hubris, that somehow we're in total control and aren't influenced by the media. The media has been successful in convincing us that it is not part of the story, when it is. It is the silent partner of terrorism, of anti-American terrorism, of the destruction of America, and will be our undoing if we do not recognize it as such. The media is the enemy. The enemy is the media. Have I made myself clear? Break the pattern! You heard it from America's man's man.